Hello, and welcome to the Pride Spotlight. Here we meet other Pride members and we get to know them a little better and we find out what brought them to our community. My name is Rheama and I'll be your host. Today we are meeting with Jacqui Pickworth. Hi, Jacqui.
Hi, Rheama. Thanks for inviting me.
Before we dive into what brought you to the Pride, can you share with us a little bit about yourself, your day to day, and where you're located in the world?
Well, I'm in the UK, in East Sussex, about 10 miles north of the coast, um, in a little village in the countryside, a very old village. So I'm very lucky. I'm surrounded by fields and woodland, and there's a river running through the village. So I can spend a lot of time out in nature, which I love. So I'm very lucky. Um, I learned about the Pride through a friend who is also a Pride member, and she uh, told me about P and spoke about animal communication. So I signed up for one of P's um, communication courses. I had previously heard about animal communication through Anna Breitenbach. I followed a bit on YouTube. I was fascinated by it. So when the opportunity came, I jumped at it. Really enjoyed the course and especially meeting everybody and just that wonderful bond through our love of animals and listening to all the sharing about their experiences and their communication. I realised that um, I too had a link with them. So after the course, I didn't want that to end, so I joined the Pride.
And how long have you been a member of the Pride?
That's a good question. I think about 2 years. It may be longer.
So when you're listening to P-related animals communication, what is your experience? How do you receive the messages?
I am a very visual person, so the first of all, I see a picture and it's very animated, and then when I see immediately, I it's not hearing, it's just knowing what the animal is trying to say or trying to communicate. And I mean, I've meditated for many years, and I found that it's it was surprisingly easy to link with the animals, to connect with them, and I'm sure that's through meditation practice because it's the same heart connection and raising a level of consciousness. I was very surprised that I'd be able to do it because I'd never experienced anything like that. But yeah, it's wonderful, and we have this lovely community now in the Pride. We all got to know each other over the years, and I love all the sharings, and it's so fascinating to hear how other people receive messages, and it forms a bigger picture when other people share their own experiences.
What is your favorite aspect of the Pride? Is it the power-ups, summit conversations, the sound healing, the community?
Each aspect's quite different. I mean, I love the way um, he does it, and she has such gentleness and humility. It's very easy to navigate. So, I mean, I have mostly been on the animal communications, the monthly Pride meetings. Um, and of course, I love listening to the replays as well. So I think because there's such a connection with other like-minded people through the Pride, I like the power-ups best, I think.
And what ways has being a member of the Pride enhanced or changed your life?
I find it's, I mean, I think I've already said it, that it's complemented my spiritual practice. I think the two, animal communication and any kind of spiritual practice, it feels like a natural expansion of it. And it's helped me in my spiritual practice, in the meditations. And um, yes, I've learnt such a lot through the different animals that have come through. Um, and because there's actually somebody responding, something that's um, got a soul, got a sentient being, it's different to meditation, although it's the same energy. And yeah, I've been really surprised by the messages and the experiences that I've had. The first time I did the animal communication with P, she invited us all to um, inquire if there was an animal species wanting to communicate with us, and suggested it might be an animal that we already knew, or an animal that had passed. And of course, I was expecting it to be one of my two dogs that had passed, and but it wasn't at all. It was this tiny little gullcrest, this little bird um, that I'd completely forgotten about. It was several years earlier. I'd been walking in some woods and found this um, little gullcrest lying on the ground that had died, and I picked it up. There wasn't a mark on it, and I'd never seen a gullcrest so close before. They're tiny, they're smaller than a wren, and I held it in the palm of my hand, and I had a really good look at it, um, and really connected with it. And then instead of putting it back on the ground when I left, I put it in the fork of an ash tree. And since then I'd forgotten about it, but it was this little bird, this little gullcrest that came to me, full of life, fluttering all around my head and shoulders, telling me, showing me how alive it was. So I knew then that it was real. You know, that having expected my dogs to come forward, this little bird came. Um, so yeah, that was amazing.
So you were saying you have experiences with each animal. Are you integrating any of those experiences into your everyday life? Any of the lessons maybe you're learning from them?
It's very difficult for me to answer because um, I have a spiritual practice that I do twice a day, every morning and every evening. And it's so similar in that there are many things that come up in that, and many lessons that I learn and through my daily life through spiritual practice, and I put them into practice. So I couldn't tell you which are through the animal communication and which are through the spiritual practice, because it's all one. And that's how what I meant when I said they complement each other. It's all one.
So, what progress have you seen or felt with your communications with animals since joining the Pride?
Yeah, the difference is that I, when I'm close to animals now, or when I think about animals, or the bird at the bottom of the garden, I link with the heart more.
Do
Um,
you have a favorite species that you've communicated? Do you have a favorite
I love
species?
I love all the species, but particular um, communications that I've experienced through the Pride. I think one that touched me was the bald eagle, the most recent one, which is the one that I um, listened to. That was really special. It felt very supportive and healing. I could really feel it was very easy to merge with the eagle, but then it was very easy to merge with the Manta Ray too. That was amazing. I was swimming alongside it, and then it went it went beneath me, and I was suddenly, well, not suddenly, but aware that its tail was stroking my back, down my back, and then it came to me that, or I remembered that I'd had a problem with my back, and it was as if it knew. That was a lovely um, connection there. Very, very gentle. All the animals have felt very gentle in their communications. The other one I found very easy to communicate with was the snail. And again, I was expecting the snail to be very slow and um, the opposite was true. It was full of life and full of light.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us today?
I remember one of the earlier communications. Again, I was expecting one of my dogs to come through again. I thought, oh, surely now they'll come up. Um, and this a family cat came through. I mean, it was a cat that we were brought up with when we were children at home, and I mean, it would be nearly 70 years old now, I think, this cat. Um, and I immediately felt sorry that I hadn't thought about it for a long, long time. But at the same time, I knew that it was real because I hadn't thought about this cat, this beautiful family cat, who was so tolerant of us when we were little. We used to hold on to its tail while we were learning to crawl, and it never scratched any of us. It was very special. He told me that he'd been a calming influence in our house, and I can understand that because there were five children, five children, and a very very busy house, and we all loved him. He lived till he was 13, so that was really special. I love the way that P does the pride, and I think she is the reason that I wanted to join the pride, and she makes it very easy to communicate. I'm not sure I'd be able to do it if it was with somebody else.
Well, thank you, Jacqui. This has been a lovely interview. It's been wonderful talking with you and getting to know you better. And thank you for sharing with us today.
Thank you too, Rima. I've enjoyed it too.